Oh, alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ruin an Hour, a safe place to talk about anything from sobriety, addiction, depression, anxiety, balance, and life. Today we got a really special episode. My good friend Ryan has been so gracious enough to join us and talk about what he's been going through, which I think is super special. I'm really happy that he has had the courage to kind of step up to the plate and put himself out there. That's not easy to do, but I feel like it's going to be tremendously helpful to a lot of people out there going through anything in life to hear his story. So, Ryan, how you doing, man?
Oh, dude, I'm doing super today. Actually, I feel really good. The sun's shining. It was raining this morning, so it was a little down that I wasn't gonna be able to get outside. But now the sun's out. Feeling good. Life's really good. And I get to talk to you for an hour and to all the folks out there, so I'm excited to share my story.
Yeah, of course, man. So me and Ryan, we met each other in college. We went to the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. So we've known each other for
about 21 years, I think.
21 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy long. I knew
we've known each other
before you became avocado is what that kind of boils down to. And then you turned into Cado and, life took off. So, Battle of the Bay. Excited.
Totally. But me and Ryan, kind of reconnected recently. Life kind of took us on our separate paths. He moved down to Orange County, started a family, got married, got an amazing position at a company, and then I think he found out something in his life that really took it in a different route, and I feel like this is where the core of the conversation would be today, talking about this. So I'll kind of move the floor over to you, Ryan, to take over from here.
No worries. Yeah, so I'll kind of give you a synopsis of my story. So obviously the topic of today is cancer. Obviously I have cancer. I'll get a little bit more into detail of what that's like. But, before cancer, life was good. I was in really good shape. Not Kyle shape, for sure. Not buff, but I definitely was lean. I was doing CrossFit for 4 days every week. I played soccer, most of my life. I think I played soccer for 33 years of my life, and I was doing soccer 3 times a week. Again, I was juggling 3 kids, so my life was full, and I was working a full-time job. I was working for a company called Prana down in Carlsbad, California, and so life was good. And in late November 2021, I wasn't feeling any kind of symptoms up to this 1 week, but this 1 week I had these really twists and almost like knife stabs in my lower stomach, lower abdomen, and I was like, what is this? At first I thought, I was like, oh man, maybe I have IBS or something like that, so I got to go over to head over to the doctor and see what's up. And I was getting checked out, and we're doing blood tests and some other things. And so, it turned out all my tests were negative. He didn't see anything. And so he was just like, maybe you just have some upset stomach. I can give you some, Tums or some kind of prescription to kind of control that. Maybe you have IBS. And so I'll give you some IBS pills. Take those, see how you feel. If you don't feel well, come back. And so I took them for a day or two, and I was getting some pains that were even more powerful than what I initially got to. And then I started getting some other symptoms, which was alarming because as it goes with the particular cancer that I have, which I'll just say now, I didn't mention it, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. So the worst of the cancers. And colorectal cancer is the silent killer is what it is. Because you cannot feel sometimes any symptoms up until it's too late. And for me, that was the exact case. And it was super alarming. So kind of dial back to when I was feeling symptoms, not to get too detailed and kind of gross, but reality is it kind of is. I had blood in my stool. I was losing a lot of liquids. So it was like not even food. It was just like liquid just pouring out. I was throwing up, and then I started losing a lot of weight. Even though I was working out, and this week I wasn't working out, and I had lost 10 pounds in 5 days out of nowhere. And it's like, yeah, I was kind of sick, but something was happening. And so I went back into the doctor. I was like, hey, these IBS pills aren't working. I think we need to do something more extreme and get some other kind of testing. He's like, the only thing we can really do is do an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. You got to go see a GI doctor. So I'll set that up for you. They'll call you, set up an appointment. And so that's what I did. I ended up getting a phone call. I was like, hey, I need to get colonoscopy, endoscopy. And they were like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 37. And they're like, what are you doing getting an endoscopy and a colonoscopy at this age? And I was like, something's wrong. I went to my doctor, went through all these procedures and tests. Even though they're negative, there's something else going on. I need to get examined. And even the secretary that I talked to didn't believe me and was kind of giving me the runaround on the phone call. And I was like, no, this needs to happen. If I'm not getting it through you, I'm getting it through somebody else. I need to go in. And so she set up an appointment, which was almost a month from that date that I had talked to her. And for as serious as it was and the pain I was in, I was like, okay, if that's the soonest you can get me in, just put me down. I went back to talk to my doctor, and he's like, no, you need to be seen like right away. And so I had to have my doctor call the GI and get in their face. I got in their face, and I was like, no, this needs to happen. This is really serious, or I'm going to go to the emergency room. And so they bumped me to that Thursday. I think it was a Tuesday I called. They bumped me to a Thursday that same week. For any of those that are going through colonoscopy, a lot of people are usually in their 50s. You have to take a kind of remedy, or I guess what I got to take were these giant horse pills. There's also a drink and something else, or an enema. You have to clear out your bowels before you go in, and that's super embarrassing. That's one of those things. It's just like, I don't want anything to go up that side of me, and it's like, but for my case, I needed to get this done. For as embarrassing as it was, there's no shame in it because it's a very serious matter. So I got to take these pills, flushed me out. I had to fast, the day before, go in, and surprisingly enough, when I went into my test, they put you in twilight, so you kind of go under, right? So I went under, and the procedure was supposed to be about an hour long, and my procedure was only 10 minutes, and they woke me up right away. I was super groggy out of it because they were putting medicine into me to put me down for an hour, and I was up in 10 minutes not knowing what the hell was going on. The doctor had come to me, and he was like, hey, I got some alarming news. I can't confirm that it's cancer, but we were able to do your endoscopy. When we did your colonoscopy, we couldn't pass the scope past your colon into your rectum. So my cancer and tumor is right at the junction of the colon and the rectum. He couldn't pass the scope that's like super tiny. He couldn't pass around it without damaging me or hurting. And so he's like, I need to have you talk to a surgeon, and I need to schedule a CT to find out more to confirm whether or not you have this cancer, right? And so I went in and got the CT done. I'm talking to a surgeon, and I get the results. And he's looking at this thing, and he's like, this is way worse than just a tumor in your colon. I don't want to alarm you, but we got to do a couple further tests and, look into it. By the end of the appointment, he's like, you have stage 4 colorectal cancer. He didn't fluff it. He's just like, I was like, give it to me straight. I need to know. I don't want to play around with this. And he told me, yeah, you got stage 4 colorectal cancer. And we're looking at this CT scan. And I'm not understanding what I'm looking at. All I see, it looks like a weather system. It's just like all these things happening, and it's just like clouds are forming out. He's like, I want you to pay attention and look at this because your cancer is not just a tumor. It's metastatic, which means it's growing and spreading, and it's also moving really fast. So my cancer has spread to my lymph nodes. 90% of my liver is covered in cancer cells and lesions. So my liver is pretty much destroyed on the outside. though on the inside it's functioning perfectly well. On the outside, cancer is all over it. That's a really serious matter because my liver's in jeopardy more than just the tumor in my colon. I also have cancer nodules in my lungs, as well as my abdomen lining. So I pretty much have cancer everywhere in the middle. I don't know how much more across my body, but yeah, as serious as it is, the liver is the most in jeopardy. And so to kind of just fast track where I went from that appointment, I'm talking to the surgeon. He's like, "You should have been in chemo yesterday." And to hear that was like, holy shit, my life is just taking off. It's a 180 from what I was doing to getting really sick. And the only things I could think about in this appointment, thankfully I had my dad, who's a huge supporter of my journey. He's been with me through everything, making sure that I'm good, and he was there with me. So he's talking to the doctor, and the only things that are running through my head, I was like, I'm gonna die. And it's like a real thing, like it really set in. It's like, you could die from this. And then I started thinking about all the people out there that have died from it. And then I'm like getting all kind of like teary-eyed. I don't usually cry for anything, but I was in tears in the office, and I was just thinking about my wife, my kids, and like my family. And I was just like, oh man, I can't have them go through life without dad, you know? And so it was like, I was just, jaw dropped. So going home, I'm just in the car, and my dad's trying to talk to me, and I'm not hearing anything. I'm just almost like starstruck. I'm not listening to anything. I get home, and the first thing that happens, my kids open the door, and they give me a hug. And I just started losing it. I have never cried so hard in my life. To know that they don't know what's going on. They're just happy to see their dad. And to me, I'm like, I can't die. I have to be there for them. And so I had to tell my wife what was going on because she was worried, and telling her the news. And I commend my wife. She's my rock. She's everything. She's my backbone. She's getting me through a lot. She's one of those people that doesn't take any bullshit. I think that's why I married her. She's the complete opposite of me. I'm very easygoing, and she's very stubborn and hard-headed. And I really love that about her because she didn't shed a tear. She just looked at me and she's like, what do we got to do next to beat this thing? And that's the exact thing that I needed to hear, because I was in my all-time low, like the lowest part of my life right then and there. And she just looked at me, she's like, everything's going to be fine. You've got a huge support system. And, we're going to get through this. I know it's serious, and we accept it, but we're going to move on. Let's figure out what we got to do. And that's the exact thing that I did. My dad backed that up. Other family members backed that up. And it's just like, you dwell on these things and you're like, oh, I'm going to die. Or I'm just going to go into mad depression. Or I got all this anxiety and it's like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to sit in a dark corner in my room with the shades drawn, the door closed, not talk to anybody, and just, let life take me kind of thing. And to have the support system that I got right off the bat made me have hope. And it was like, I didn't do that. I didn't draw the shades. I didn't do any of that. And I was trying to find ways, I was researching, trying to figure out more about my disease, talking to other cancer patients that are going through it, and, setting up my first chemo appointment, which was huge. Because I was super sick, and I had to go to the hospital first because of my chemo. They were like, you probably want to do this just because for preparation, you're basically going to be getting chemo for the rest of your life, is what they put it as. There's no cure for this type of cancer or most cancers, and so just be prepared. You're probably going to get chemo for the rest of your life. We're going to put a power port. So I have, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a power port in my chest. This is where they stick basically a 1-inch needle into my chest, and I receive chemo from a drip bag. And then I also got an ileostomy bag. I won't show you that. For those of you that don't know what an ileostomy is basically there's ileostomy and there's a colostomy, and then there's one for like urine. So I just have an ileostomy, which basically is they cut a hole side of your abdomen and they pull a part of your small intestines out. They cut a hole out of that, and they just kind of do like a stitch that ends up falling out. So you basically got a part of your small intestines hanging out of your stomach, and that's a weird thing to see and accept. At first, I was like, "Yeah, go for it, totally. You know, gotta do what you gotta do." And then when I was healing in the hospital, and I'm looking down at this thing, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, this is not right. Like, your insides are supposed to stay on the inside, and this stuff is hanging on the outside." And I was like, "What does this do?" And so I basically played dumb, and I was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Well, because we can't remove the tumor, we have to start you on chemo first to get a hold of this thing from spreading and hopefully stopping it so you don't actually end up passing away, like, for good." And I was like, "Okay, so what is this?" And basically, I have my tumor still to this day inside of me. The ileostomy is basically when you eat, goes down your mouth through your sternum into your stomach, processes. Basically, the small intestines are there to suck up the nutrients and the proteins and things, digest it, and then it ends up going to your large intestines and out your rectum and out your colon. And so for me, I take in the nutrients and the proteins, and then it exits out my body into a bag that hangs off my abdomen. So I bypass the whole digestive system from the large intestines out the colon. The reason why we do this is going to the bathroom is excruciating. If I didn't have this, I'd be in dire pain every day going to the bathroom, and I would need to take a shit ton of painkillers, and I didn't want to put myself through that, especially the fact that I believe, if you're too heavily medicated, you're kind of not yourself. And to me, it's like, I want to be there for my kids, support them, and not be in this kind of fogginess around them. Like, I want to be there for them. So yes, put the ileostomy. I don't go to the bathroom out there, so it cut out about 90% of my pain that I was having before I had the surgery. And so that was a huge part because
Ryan, there's not to cut you off. There's a question in the chat. Desi asks,
Sure.
how often does the bag get changed? Like, how often do you switch that out?
So there's a couple ways to manage an ileostomy. I usually change once a week, and it's taking off the entire thing. So the way that it kind of goes on, it's kind of sealed with like a very sticky, like almost Band-Aid that goes over it, and then you can look this up on Google. And then it's a bag that kind of just extends off of that. You can change the physical bag and put on a new one while keeping the adhesive on. I usually do once a week, take off the entire thing and clean, but I also will change the bag twice a week. It just depends on how destroyed the bag is, because the more you eat, the more you go into the bathroom, the more that you gotta. What's kind of cool about the bag is at the bottom it releases, so you have a way to release it out of the bag, so you're not constantly changing bags. It's basically like you go into the bathroom, you dump it, then you move on, clean up, you move on. And so I change my bag twice a week, and then the entire contraption, I take it off once a week, so that I'll shower with it on, and then change it. So I usually shower at least 3 times a week. If it stays on, I keep it on. If it falls off, I change on a new one. So there is a bit of a maintenance to it. There's also, I won't go into too much detail, but there's a lot that goes into colostomy ileostomies, is taking care of your skin. Because you're constantly ripping Band-Aids off, because you're constantly having your stool on your skin, you want to make sure that's clean, because you can risk infection. And to get an infection, in my case, could put me in the hospital and potentially kill me. So you got to be on top of it when you're managing an ileostomy. So definitely a good question. Any kind of questions like that you guys want to spit out, I'm definitely here to answer those things. I want you guys to be not only fully aware about cancer and colon cancer and any kind of cancer, but there's these small details like if you're a caregiver, you want to know these things because sometimes the patient is not fully aware or so consumed in what's happening that there's people that got to help them get through this. And so, I learned it in the hospital. I told the nurse, I was like, I don't want to be dismissed from the hospital and not know how to change my ileostomy. So I want you to teach me. And I can't leave the hospital until I do it myself. And so I put that burden on me because it's like, I have to know how to do this on my own. This is the rest of my life. I might have an ileostomy for the rest of my life. I mean, there could be a point where I remove the tumor and they repatch me and I go back to normal. But in this case right now, I still have the ileostomy and I still have the tumor. And so, yeah, I would say I'm an expert. I've gone through everything there is with an ileostomy bag to clean up, to not to gross you out, but one of these funny stories I had my son, he was a baby, and my bag was full, partially with gas, because you digest gas into it, and I also had stool in there, and I got up, and I popped my bag, and it went all over his rug in his room, and I felt so bad, because it was a really cool rug. He was too young to know this, but I had to tell my wife, and she's like, you shit on his rug. And I was like, essentially, I shit on his rug. So, I was like, don't bother. Let's just throw it away, buy him a new one. But there were things I had to be attentive. I was like, oh shit, like, the gas that creates in it just makes it a giant balloon full with liquid. And it's like, there's ways to empty out the gas to kind of like puff it out or, go to the bathroom and release it. So, I just wanted to share that story. It's kind of funny to think about.
No, that's a great story. That's super funny.
It's just like, when my kid grows up, I'm going to tell him this and be like, you don't know this, but I shit on your rug. Like, I can't wait to do that to him and embarrass him.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Ryan, so quick question. Your phone, are you streaming off your phone right now?
Yes.
Is it on like a tripod? What is it on? Is it on like something?
It's just on a bench kind of thing. Is it reverbing or something?
Yeah, it's like creating reverb. So I'm wondering if you hold it, if that would be.
Yeah, I can hold it. That's fine. Is that better?
I think I can't really tell unless you start talking. That's why I'm like. Yeah.
I heard background noise like in your mic, but I tried to press through and it was like a bird.
Oh, okay. So what about this? What if you mute me, or you turn down the volume on your phone?
Okay, let me do that because I need to hear you if you're gonna ask questions. Is that better?
So talk.
Okay, I'm talking. I'll go back to my story and then you tell me. In the hospital. So I was in the hospital for 14 days. I lost 40 pounds in the hospital. So I was at around, I think before the hospital, I was at quarantine weight is what I like to put it softly as. I was still really fit, but I also put on a few lbs because of quarantine. So I was eating kind of ridiculousness and gained some extra fat around the sides. So I was around 250 and I lost 40 pounds before when I got out of the hospital. And the downside was, too, while I was in the hospital, I was in the hospital during Thanksgiving, so I didn't even get to go home. I had to eat hospital turkey dinner. Thankfully, I still had visitors in the hospital, which was super nice. I had family come, I had a couple friends come, and they kind of made the experience better. My cousin, who's an RN, she actually thought ahead of it and brought me, and this is for anybody that goes into the hospital, this is a good thing to do beforehand. And she did it for me knowing that I was going to stay a long time. Hospital beds are not comfortable. It may feel good the first day you lay in it because you've been through a lot of shit, but when you're there for more than a week, the bed is terrible. You get bed sores, your back aches. It's a terrible night. You got noises going on. You got, roommates that are coughing and yelling, and you just don't get good sleep there. She ended up buying me an apartment to lay on my bed, almost like a Tempur-Pedic kind of thing. She bought me a Tempur-Pedic pillow, bought me extra blankets and things like that. It almost made it feel like a hotel bed, which was nice. So I ended up staying 14 days through Thanksgiving. I get home, and I remember coming home because this entire time, when you have, I'm kind of just jumping off here randomly, but when you have kids and you're away for a certain amount of time from your kids, it could be even a day, depending on how well attached you are to them. You kind of go through this depression because you are missing them so incredibly bad. There's no way to explain this kind of feeling. I mean, you could, with family members and things that you haven't seen in like a couple of years, and you can't wait to see them. Not being able to hold my kids or put them to bed and just FaceTime. Thankfully, I got to FaceTime them each night, but to physically see them and hold them is just like, it's just one of those things that just gets you super happy. So I got to do that after 14 days not seeing them. They couldn't visit me in the hospital because they weren't allowed. And getting to hug them was the most rewarding thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. And I don't take that for granted to this day. Anytime I see my kids, I hug them because you never know when your last hug is going to be with them, especially in my case. And so I, cherish those kinds of moments. I go in and I see my mom, and she's just like super scared for me. She was, holding strong and not tearing up, but I could tell that she was worried because I lost all my muscle from working out. I lost a lot of fat, a lot of weight. And she's like, I could see your ribcage through your back. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't eating. The reason why I didn't get out of the hospital also, I forgot to mention, I was dehydrated. And even though I was drinking a shit ton of water, I couldn't stay hydrated. I even had an IV drip of hydration and I couldn't keep it. And so they couldn't release me until my levels. Come to find out, Gatorade saved my life. I should probably write Gatorade. If you're watching Gatorade, it could be a sponsor for you. Gatorade saved my life. The reason why is because of electrolytes. So I was missing a certain amount of salt, like potassium and stuff like that. Electrolytes saved my life. I was going below numbers where it was very alarming and they couldn't figure out why. Then the doctor's like, stop drinking water, drink this Gatorade to see how you feel. Within 24 hours, I was from the hospital because I was feeling great. I took a shit ton of Gatorade that day. It was amazing. And as bad as Gatorade is, I didn't mind. I didn't need Gatorade Zero. I needed to put weight on, so I was like, give me all the Gatorade you've got. I'm going to drink this up. I got out of the hospital 24 hours. So, kind of just fast forward. I know we only have an hour kind of thing, so.
No. So, Ryan, I'll just, what's your, we're just going to like have this conversation on air. What's your schedule like this week?
This week? So this week I'm off of chemo. The upcoming week, sorry, we're on the weekend. So I have chemo tomorrow on Monday. Chemo for me, and it's a little outrageous, it's 50 hours long. I have chemo in me for 50 hours. The way that breaks down, Monday, I go to the office and they put me in chemo for 4 hours in the office, and then I take it home with me. So I have this little bulb full of chemo drugs that I take home with me that's still in my chest. I get those removed on Wednesday. Thursday, I get hydration. So basically, chemo sucks you dry. The drugs, that chemo, just in short.
What are you doing before chemo?
Before chemo?
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking. The reason why I'm asking you is because I want to redo this show, but I want to be there live so we can like have like the right setup and stuff. Because right now, I think there's something wrong with the mic, that the phone or the Wi-Fi or something, where your audio is basically going like high and low. Okay. So I want to do this right.
Let me turn off my headphone. Let me see if this is. Hear me?
Yeah, it's talk.
Is it still kind of weird?
No, that's way better.
So it must be the headphones. Bose headphones are $400 and they come with a mic attached to it and it's Bluetooth. Apparently some shit's got to go down. I got to return these bad boys and be like, hey, your mic sucks. So I guess
okay. Yeah, it sounds a million times better now. But I mean,
sorry.
if you're down, I would love to redo this like in person and like have it so we're both there.
Yeah.
What are you doing anything before chemo? Would that be a good time, or is that like kind of a lot to do?
If
Is
you
like
want,
an interview before? Because I can drive down there and interview you.
Oh man, that's a commute for you. That's like an hour and a half to come here.
Dude, I commute for everything. I drive like an hour for
do.
the gym every day.
It might be tough just because with the kids' schedule and things. I got him out of the house for this interview. If you want, I mean, I don't feel too terribly bad in between my days while I have chemo. If you're free on Tuesday, so I'm not in the hospital, I'm just at home with chemo in me. I may be a little tired, but we could do it then. If it's, coming out of chemo, I get better each day. So generally, that's why I was trying to aim for like a weekend or something like that. I mean, we could try to do it for today. I'm not sure, how the wife is juggling 3 kids. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But we can do it soon. So, like, let's shoot for Tuesday. And, I'll take my medicine. I'll take my nausea pills because it's just part of it. I get nauseous, but I have pills to subdue that kind of pain. Let's do it Tuesday. So we can continue today if you want for the crowd that's here, or I can answer any questions, and then we can redo it. And I could talk about other things. I love talking and I love listening and answering people's questions. That's basically my new mission in life. So,
and this way, if we're both there, we can like not only both be in the room together, it's like we can have a real conversation, and also it's like you can read the chat there too, as opposed to me like reading you the questions. But there's a couple questions that we could talk about since we got kind of some limited time. So Trickbot asks, losing 40 pounds that fast can be so drastic. What would you say to people to try to keep their energy up during treatments where they can't be physically active?
That's a good question. So there's a lot. That's a deep question. That's a lot that I do. Yeah, so losing 40 pounds, there's things, we'll attack the question this way. So losing that much weight that quickly, you kind of have to kind of regain that stuff back. The best way I can suggest it, because you go through nausea and things like that you don't want to eat, there's 2 remedies. The one that I do is I eat nausea pills, so I curve that, and I drink a lot of protein shakes. So the things like I'm sure Kyle drinks, like muscle milk or whatever you do, I end up drinking a lot of those to gain that protein back, so that you get that energy, because you naturally get energy from those drinks. It's an endorphin. There's things that Kyle has mentioned in his talks previously that I've watched, and like changing your routines in the morning. So like the key one is getting enough sleep, especially with chemo. You're going to sleep naturally. Chemo gets you really tired. So whenever you are tired, take those naps. You're probably not working. You're at home recovering. And for me, I was on disability multiple times. And so at this time I was on disability. Anytime I got tired, I just took a nap. Didn't matter how long it was. I just slept until I was ready to wake up. Sometimes longer than normal. Changing your routine. So as long as you get, at least that solid 8 hours, you give yourself even more, better. Getting up in the morning. I used to drink coffee to get the caffeine to kind of boost you. And I've heard that's not actually the first thing you should drink. You should either drink a really cold glass of water, or like for me, I drink a lot of like cranberry juice, like a glass of cranberry juice. That actually gives me more energy than I do with coffee. When I drink coffee, like the first thing, I end up crashing in the afternoon, getting really tired because I introduced caffeine as the first thing, and then I'm riding that wave, but then I end up getting headaches, and then drinking another coffee to like boost it back up. Whereas if you drink water or juice in the morning, even a healthy like protein shake, or you go to like a nectar or something like that, you get one of those, that actually gets you up and gets your energy going. A few other things, just natural things. Seeing my kids gives me energy. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but they're up way before me, and they come and wake up daddy, and I'm all groggy in the morning and like, I want to sleep, leave me alone. But when I do get up with them, we make breakfast, like we make pancakes or something like that. And just their aura, like around me, gives me energy because I'm excited to do these things with them. When you are, and this isn't anything in life, when you are excited about something, it gives you a natural energy boost to pursue it. For me, I'm a creative person. I love art. Whenever I get into like drawing in my sketchbook, painting something like an avocado skateboard, I am excited to do that stuff. And it's like, what can I do to do that right now? If I have to get chores out of the way, I'm going to do that, knock them out, and get to the thing that I'm passionate about, because you'll naturally get this energy that will get you going. Other things, obviously, other than naps, doing a couple push-ups ain't going to hurt you, but that will naturally create energy. You know, Avocado mentioned this in one of his videos. Going outside and just 20 minutes breathing in the air and taking in that morning sunshine will give you energy naturally. Like, you almost feel like Superman. You know, when the sun hits your skin, it cranks you up. Like, it's a beautiful thing, especially if you appreciate, you know, nature. And I do more now, appreciate life more because of the things I'm going through. But going outside and just like taking in that like cold air, getting the sunshine, you know, going for a small walk, that will create enough energy to get you going. And then for the rest of the day, you just kind of maintain it doing different things. Like, I don't focus on cancer at all. I keep myself active a lot of the times and give myself projects that obviously motivate me, so that I'm constantly not thinking about cancer. Like, at times I'm like, hell, I don't think I have cancer. And I'm just involved in what I'm doing and excited about. So those are definitely some things. I'm open to other options. If you guys have things that, you know, you want to shoot my way and be like, hey, I think this would be really great for you, I'm willing to take that in and try stuff that's new. I read books. Watch a lot of movies. I think I've gone through Netflix like 100 times, so I'm done with Netflix. I've watched shows that, you know, like I had never seen Breaking Bad, even though it's so old. I went back and watched all the seasons. I watched Suits because that was an amazing show. And those things gave me energy because, like, I was binge watching these episodes back to back. So I was staying awake and, like, watching these. And then, of course, I had to watch my battle raps. I at least watch battle rap once a day, if not more videos, and sometimes binge into the late night. But, you know, I got to keep up my my verbiage and tune into the battle rap. So, besides that stuff, yeah, that all gives me energy. Things that excite you give you energy, and you'll be surprised. You know, even things that, you know, giving yourself a chance to experience new things, I think is huge. So, I think you mentioned this, Kyle. I keep referring to you because you hit a lot of topics that I can relate to that I actually use in my life. Sometimes you get stuck in a routine. This happens even, you know, even if you're sick or not sick, if you're dealing with abuse or alcohol and things like that, you get into this rut of just doing the same shit over and over again, whether it's drinking, which is bad, obviously, or doing your drugs, and that's bad. But you go to work, like you wake up, you go to work, you do your 9 to 5, then you come home, and then you're like, okay, maybe I'll go to the gym or sit down and watch TV and just shoot the shit. You're drinking a beer, then you're eating dinner, and then, you know, maybe dessert, go to bed, crash out. Or you're going to a party and just, you know, whatever. Then you do that same thing over and over and over again. It gets so repetitive that you actually lose energy because you're bored. And you're like, and you think by consuming more of this stuff is going to, you know, get better. In reality, it's not. What actually is great for energy is breaking up your routine and doing something completely different, or just something new that you wanted to try and experience. And so for me, I never liked to journal. I think writing my feelings and things was like total bullshit. I'm gonna smack myself in the face for that, because it is not bullshit. It is something that you should do, especially if you're going through stuff. Cancer, one of them. Great point. You know, if you're struggling with alcohol or drugs or anything like that, having a journal, even if it's personal, and you're not even like necessarily spending a lot of time in it, it's just writing out either your day, your feelings, or anything. You get that bad out, and then all that's left is you're ready to take in the good and, you know, move on with your day. So, like, I started journaling in a special way. It's not me buying a journal with link sheets and writing in. I bought this book.
I'll share it, and the next time we do our show, I'll bring it with me. It's like 3,000 questions about me, and it's a book that's got pre-written questions of random stuff. It could be anything, like media, personal life, just random, almost like questions you would start with, like a topic to start like a discussion with somebody at like a coffee table. And so I'm answering these questions with pure, honest answers. The reason why I started it is because I'm not sure what my timeline is on this earth. I could die tomorrow. I could die in the next 20 years, or hopefully I get all the way up to 90 and be like, all right, 90 is good. You can take me out. But I wrote this book because I don't know when my time is, but I want to fill honest answers into this book, regardless the swear words, how true it is, if it hurts people's feelings, if it makes them happy, whatever it is, the book is going to go to my kids. And so if I ever leave, they're going to want to know things about their dad that, you could, record yourself on video and talk about yourself. But I think this is a good way to kind of kill two birds on one stone. Is I'm writing out my feelings and bringing up old things and just writing stuff out. A lot of it's actually really funny because I think I'm naturally funny. So I have a lot of jokes in there that I think they're going to laugh at later, or they're going to be like, Dad, you crazy. What the hell are you writing? But it's for my kids and family to learn a lot about me on the most randomest things, but I think it's going to be entertaining. 3,000 questions is a shit ton of questions. I had started this book probably like 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm only on question 300 because I put a lot of thought and detail into my answers. But I try to approach it at least once a week, and when I'm in chemo, I knock out like 20 questions. And some of them are really funny, and it's just like, it also talks about things of like, who hurt you the most. And I talk about the one time I got cheated on by a girlfriend, and like how serious that was. And then, by breaking up with her and moving on, this is kind of, I'll throw a little snippet in about my personal life, but I had this girlfriend that cheated on me with my best friend. And it was the night before I was leaving to San Francisco for college. And they claimed that they were drunk, and my best friend told me, he's like, she came on to me, and then she's like, no, he came on to me, and I was like, you know what, you both fucked up. You obviously accept it regardless you're drunk or not. Fuck y'all, I'm starting a new life anyways, later. And so I left them. I don't talk to either of them to this day. And I went to San Francisco on a clean slate, and I didn't have anything holding me back. I felt sad because I had a girlfriend for a while, but at the same time, I was like, she willing to cheat on me, she ain't worth it, right? So it gave me an opportunity to really clean the slate, pack full of energy, and, lo and behold, I got this quiet guy named Kyle who wouldn't talk to anybody unless you skateboarded with him. And so that's how our friendship kindled. I had to at least know how to ollie a skateboard to even hang out with this cool guy. But yeah, that was a little fun. So my kids get to read that, and I'm not all into college, but like they get to read my first time I ever got cheated on, amongst other things, and they're also involved in the book. So I know that will keep them happy. And it's like, as I write this stuff, it's giving me energy and, a positive outlook and hope for life. Like, it's just a lot of things that, and it kind of gets serious here. This can happen to anybody. It's not just cancer patients. This is like people that are struggling and things. When you get to your lowest low, you kind of get this new life perspective. For me, knowing that I had cancer and that technically death is on the line, and it could be in my foreseeable future, that you kind of have a respect for life now. So beforehand, I never thought I would ever get cancer in a million years. Like, you'd see people getting sick and you're like, oh man, I feel bad for them. Like, that sucks. But, I'm healthy as shit. I'm going to be fine, And, a week later, I have stage 4 cancer. And I was just like, how the hell did that happen? And like, I have a million questions. No one knows the answer why I got it. It doesn't even run in my family. I'm the first to really get it. Looking at family history and things like that. my grandma had it when she was 90, but she didn't pass away from that. She was just passed away from old age. But I'm the first to get it on either side of my family, and I got the worst of it. And so
that
it's
right there, that kind of ropes into another person's question.
Yeah.
So Rebel One and actually a couple other people kind of asked. I like to ask Ryan, what were the symptoms prior to finding out you had that type of cancer, as I may have that type myself. And I've noticed a lot of other people ask kind of like, well, what were your symptoms that you were noticing before you went in to get treated? So like, what were your symptoms?
Ask that person how old they are, because I definitely want to go back and touch a key point personally with them. So for me, as anything with treatment or diagnosis, even people with addiction, every person is different. Things that happen to you or you do is different for everybody. For me, I never had the common symptoms of colorectal cancer. So like the biggest one is blood in your stool. And I didn't have it until just 1 week I got it. And then I was like, oh shit, that's not supposed to happen. Like, that's serious. And it was consistent in that week. And I was like, I have to go to the doctor. So thankfully, other than that, the way I described it early on in the conversation is like, I had this like, it felt like someone stabbed a knife in my belly and just kept rotating it. And no matter how much Tylenol I choked down, it didn't do anything. This pain.
Did you think you had like food poisoning at first or something? Like, where did your mind go?
It almost feels like it, because the tricky part of it is like, another point of the symptom is my stomach was like, really tight. And then I was going to the bathroom a lot. Your stomach starts growling, like more than you would think when you're hungry. You kind of have like, just a little bit of a growl and you're like, oh, like I'm hungry. This kind of growl is like a lion's growl. It literally goes like, it's loud. And you're just like, what the, and it's constant. What's ended up happening was cancer was eating my weight, and it was eating all the nutrients and proteins in my body to the point where I felt like I was eating, but it didn't matter. So anytime I even put food in my body, my stomach was still growling. And that's when I knew something serious was bad, because I had the factor of blood in my stool. I lost a shit ton of weight because I wasn't working out this week, and it was losing rapidly. When you see weight loss, that's like not just 1 or 2 pounds, because that's like water weight. You go through that fluctuation every day. Even if you go for a run, you may lose a couple pounds because you're sweating and all that and losing some of the food. But you're going to drop weight really quick. And that like first day, it may be like 1 or 2 pounds, but by the third and fourth day, it was already 5. By the time at the end of the week, I had lost 10 altogether. And I was like, what the hell? Like, it was inconsistent, and it was massive weights just dropping out. And so that's when you should get checked out. Luckily for me, because I had some of those early symptoms that I like, this is different. I've never experienced this in my life. I need to go see a doctor. So the person that asked this question, I want to know the age, because
he says he's 45, and then also
45.
He said that's been happening to me recently for a while now, and also he's experiencing the stabbing pain as well.
That's okay. So kind of similar situation. Does he live in California?
Rebel, where do you live? He'll probably have to answer like there's like a 20-second delay.
Worries. Yeah,
but
no
what
worries.
would you advise him to do?
Definitely go to your doctor. He may push on the fact that if you have IBS or anything, that's the usual cases. Like you have diarrhea, maybe you have food poisoning, maybe you just have a stomach bug. But because you said that this is going on for some time, and from the time that it happened to the time now, if the pain has increased, that's also alarming. If you're getting more symptoms than when you started, that's also alarming. You should go see your PCP. Explain to him in detail, and do not fluff it. You have to be very serious, and you have to be very demanding. When you say like, oh, when they tell you a scale, usually this is for anything you go in the doctor for, they'll be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain at? Do not hesitate. Firmly say 10. They'll take you more seriously. And the fact is, if you say like you're trying to be tough and like, nah, I think I'm like a 6, it hurts, but I can manage, right? What they'll see that is, oh, then you're not in trouble. Like, I don't have to worry. This might be something else. Um, I firmly, when I went in, I said, I'm a 12. And he's like, well, I said 1 to 10. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a 12. And I was firm about it because I felt like I was freaking dying. And I was like, if you're not going to treat me, I'm going to the hospital. We're going to go through all this shit. And I'm going to have to pay $400 out of my pocket, but I'll at least get a CT scan of the doctor that will listen to me in the ER. Because I'm sitting here sweating bullets, grinding my teeth, about to punch somebody in the face because I'm in a lot of pain. And you got to be that demanding. My wife encourages it. She's like, enter him in the hospital. Make sure you get to that point. Make sure that you're serious and put your foot down, because especially in the age that I was 37. They didn't take me seriously. I wasn't taking no for an answer. And I got my answer and I got what I needed to know that saved my life. For this person, that's 45. If you live in California, they recently had the age for colonoscopies at 50. Thank God I didn't wait till I was 50 because I wouldn't be here. They've lowered California to 45. So you are on that bucket to go get a colonoscopy to this day. If you are feeling these symptoms, which is similar to mine, I would definitely talk to PCP because he can fast track you into a GI rather than you just searching for somebody in your network and be like, hey, I kind of feel these things. It's better to have a doctor on your side to back you up to get you past that, the secretary, to then, getting into seeing a doctor. So I would say, like, especially if you're feeling these and it's increasing in pain, there's definitely something going on, and it's not let up, it seems like. And you've taken all the over-counter medicines, and it's not doing its luck. You've taken Tylenol, but it's not helping with the pain. So there's things that are there you can get from medical help to help ease you. But to me, I would just take it serious because what do you have to lose, right? You go in, and if you're clear, then oh man, that's a lot of weight off your shoulders. It's not cancer, then it's something else. And obviously they can look further into it, or maybe this medication, or a lot of times, and to consider too, is colonoscopy and a non-endoscopy. You could have celiac. My wife is a stage 3 celiac, so she's gluten-free. She didn't know until she was 30. And her stomach was hurting her because of gluten she was eating. And we drank beers, and things like that. Kept upsetting her stomach more and more, and we didn't know. She had an endoscopy, come to find out she had celiac disease. And cutting gluten out, now she feels great. We don't drink beer in the house. So anything gluten, we try to eat, gluten-free bread. We eat a lot of tacos, corn tortillas. So we're very big fans of Mexican. It doesn't hurt her stomach because she's not eating that gluten. So that could be a factor when you go in to get checked, get both tests, because they'll be able to see if whether or not maybe you're gluten-free and you had no idea. Other things to also check for that I forgot to mention is to look into your family history to see if there's patterns of cancer. And it doesn't necessarily need to be colorectal. It is a positive. I mean, it's not positive, but saying like if you're feeling these symptoms and somebody in your family had colorectal cancer or colon cancer, is a good indicator to get you in to get tested because it runs in your family. Especially if it's like an immediate family member, then yes, they'll get you in. As a peace of mind, when I got mine done, I had to tell my sister because she's related to me, blood and immediate family. She got checked out, and the doctor's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And she's 3 years younger than me, so she was 34. And they're like, "Why are you getting checked out?" And like, "My brother has stage 4 colorectal cancer at 37. I need to get checked out." I think they saw her that day, and
Oh, wow.
thankfully, clear free. She doesn't have cancer, no nodules or anything. So, kind of just stepping over into this. But when you get colonoscopies, indicators of different stages of cancer. Mine was bad because I had a very massive tumor inside my colon, so they knew right away. They have things that can show up as nodules, so they're like little minuscule bumps in your colon lining. technically aren't cancerous but could be. So that's the reason for colonoscopy. Is what they'll do is they'll cut it out, test it there, and see whether or not it's cancerous. If it's cancerous and they see more nodules, you're going to get scheduled for a surgery probably within 24 hours for them to clear you out so that you're more or less cancer free. But they're able to gauge on the statuses based on the colonoscopy CTs of what stage you're at, whether it's stage 1 all the way up to stage 4. The sooner you get your colonoscopy, I recommend this person, sooner the better, because say you have a nodule that is cancerous. If you ignored that or never go in, you're not sure how fast cancer will spread in your body. Could be a couple years, could be in a month. Like, you have no idea. The sooner you get it out of your body, the better chances you are of survival. I'm no doctor, but I'm telling you, like, having cancer and living with it for these past 2 years, I'm still here. I'm very knowledgeable of it, especially in my case. And like, I know certain things that happen in my body. When I have certain pains, I know exactly what's wrong with me, because I felt them before. I've cataloged it. I've researched it. I know what medicines work for me, or if I need to go in the doctor again. So there's a lot to it. It's very kind of deep, but if at any point you guys are hesitant, especially at a young age, this is the reason why I'm talking to you guys, is because I want to share my story, but my new journey in life. I no longer work. I'd lost my job during my disability leave a couple weeks back. So my new mission in life is kind of do charity / reach out to people similar to how Kyle is on his Ruin an Hour. Is people are struggling with this thing. Sometimes it's embarrassing. Sometimes, you feel alone. And even though you talk to family, sometimes you get the fluffy answer and you just want somebody serious that has been through it to help you through it, to listen to you and encourage you. That's kind of the thing that I want to do for people, is like, while I'm still here, like, even though I'm in this shitty situation, I don't let it get me down, but I want to help other people who are either struggling with it, who are caregivers, who are, someone may have passed away from cancer and just dealing with depression, but I can somehow relate in some fashion, or just be in an open ear and be like, if you want to talk to me, you could talk to me. If you don't want any answers, I won't say anything, but I'll listen to you. Or if you want advice, I can give you as much advice as I can towards it. This could be for any cancer. Obviously, I just have colon, but in fashions of like, I go through chemo. Everybody goes through chemos most of the time with cancer. Some people go into radiation. Thankfully, I didn't have to go into radiation, but dealing with chemo has so many facets to it, with the struggles of it, with taking it in, what to expect afterwards. How long do you do it for? Do you lose your hair? I mean, for me, I shaved my head because the chemo treatment I'm currently in is making me lose hair. So my hair is very spotty. It's also growing. So I'm kind of getting the party in the back situation, which looks ridiculous. I'm going to reshave my head down to bald because I actually look better that way. So my hair is growing and losing at the same time. But for other patients, especially with radiation, you're going to lose all the hair on your body. For me, it's just my head so far. So I haven't lost my eyebrows or, under the armpits or things like that. But that stuff is very daunting. And, you can go into depression as something as simple as that, especially for ladies. You're so attached to how you look in your appearance that something like this not only is killing you, but is hurting that one thing that you were able to control and feel confident about, that it actually takes away your confidence. And you get sad, and it's super depressing to see, women having to lose their hair because of cancer, or watching videos and they're getting their head shaved. And it's like, you feel for that because you're just like, I know what you're going through. I want to be there for those people that, are sad, and just turn their spirits around and be like, be appreciative that you're still here. You got a long ways ahead of you. You got to keep the hope up, anything to drive you, to keep you positive. Having people in your corner is a huge one. This battle, I thought in the beginning for me, was I can tackle this on my own. Like, I'm strong-willed. I may be depressed at times, but, I'll be good. And the further it got worse, in my battle, I'll share with you now. I was in between. I've done 3 treatments to treat my cancer. I've had 2 chemo treatments and 1 trial chemo/chemo treatment to battle my cancer. Of the treatments I've had, cancer found a way around the medicine, and it was spreading back, so I needed more medicine, different medicine to treat it. And between my 2 and 3rd treatment, I was out of getting any kind of medicine for about 5 weeks, and I almost died. Literally, not just saying I almost died. Like, I almost died. I went into the hospital to hopefully was getting into a trial, and I found out that I was not going to get into the trial because I didn't have a certain factor that met the requirement to get that treatment. And I got put into the ER that day because I was feeling the symptoms I felt when I was diagnosed. I was having those same feelings. I was like, this is not right. Cancer is back and it's eating me. I'm having those growls. I didn't have bloody stool because I have the bag, so I don't have that anymore. But I was feeling things. I was like, I need to go to the ER. When I was in the hospital, I was super jaundiced. So if you ever get to the point of jaundice, there's something wrong with your liver. This can happen to colon cancer patients. This can happen to people that drink alcohol because you're affecting your liver from drinking. If you're ever getting kind of slightly yellow, you're going to want to get yourself checked out because there's something happening with your liver. So I was super jaundiced. When I got my 3rd chemo in the hospital, I 180'd. My jaundice went away. Treatment was working, and that's the treatment I'm on to this day. That's still working, thankfully. But when I got dismissed from the hospital, I went to see a doctor at City of Hope. It's a cancer institute within Orange County in Los Angeles. Saw a doctor there, and he told me, based on my results, you were borderline liver failure. You could have died. And I was like, it wasn't even my fault that at that time that I was off treatment. I was looking for treatments and being diligent, but my cancer is so vigorous. If I don't have any medicine within a month, I could die. So I have to be on something constantly and hopefully praying that it works, because sometimes medicines don't work. Some medicines might work for some people, it may not. And luckily for me, each time I've taken a medicine, it has worked in my favor. And this one, knock on wood, is still working. My numbers are dropping. Scores I'm getting are showing good results. So right now I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Treatment's working. It's not killed it completely. I'm not healed, but I'm at a point where it's kind of like stopped it, or at least regressed it to come down. That I'm on the road of recovery, almost kind of feeling. I'm not recovering per se. I'm not super healed or anything, but I'm in a good place where I just cancer, whatever. I'm gonna live my life, kind of thing, So, I love to rant. You can see why I like talking so much. So to that person, just in short, when in doubt, just do it, because you're gonna have that peace of mind. It's never gonna daunt on you. It's not gonna haunt on you. And you're just feeling like shit, and no one's doing anything, other than what you can do in your power to help you. So get out there, get the help you need, get checked out. I'm going to say that to anybody, because this was part of the video I wanted to say is, in California, the age is 45. But as I mentioned in this video, if you're ever feeling these kinds of symptoms, be serious, be very thorough, be very to the point, and don't fluff it, because when you're at a certain age, they're not going to take you serious. But if you're serious, they're going to be serious. And just threaten the fact that, hey, if you're not going to see me, I'm going to see somebody else, and you're going to lose out, because it's money to them at the same time. I mean, it's like, come see me, come fix me, save a life kind of thing. And you are your own person. You need to save your own life. If you ever, and this is with addiction, this is with cancer, this is for anything, is just being, true to yourself. Like, you are your own person. You control your life. There's people that can influence you, good or bad. but you're responsible for yourself. Do you want to still be here? Yes, you do. Make something happen. And so I did it. Apparently Kyle did it, which I am super proud for you, man. Like, you know, I had missed a portion of our life because I had moved away, and we're so involved with our lives that, like, you know, you took a path that you recognized was bad, and you're like, you know, I'm at an all-time low. You always tell me, you know, and not to throw you under the bus, but you always tell me how lucky I am that I'm married and I have kids and a family, and I know exactly that you're really well deserving of that, Kyle. Like, you deserve that. You're a really good guy. Like, if I was a girl, I'd marry you for off the bat. Like, you are that nice of a guy that, like, genuine, you deserve somebody, but you were at a low that conflicted with that, and you recognized it, and you were like, you know what? I can't have this dragging me down. I need to flip my life around. And you also did it in a way that not only benefits you, but you're benefiting other people, doing the similar talks, you know, telling people like, hey, like, it's the wrong path to go. I could tell you firsthand, this is the same thing I'm doing. I have cancer. I'm dealing with it. I'm fighting it every day. I bet you people in this chat that cancer has affected you in some part of your life, whether you know it or not. Family members, yourself, you know, cancer and addiction and things like that. Those things don't discriminate. Doesn't matter your sex, your age, your religion, yada, yada, yada. It comes for you. And, you know, you're the one that has to take the action, you know, that first step. So that's like the best advice I could say is, you know, it's you. It's, you know, it's your life. How do you want to live it? You only get one.
Yeah.
You know, you may think, you know, it's never going to happen to you, but I mean, I'm a prime example. Kyle's one of them too. Like, it can happen to anybody. And so, you know.
Yeah.
Best of luck with you guys.
Well, that was really beautiful put. Yeah, everybody's just kind of thanking you in the chat. Like, you know, Rebel, Eds88, C Dizzle, Desi, Rufus. A lot of people, you know, are seeming that they are experiencing something similar in their lives. So I think it's just very big for them to hear how you're going through it, and also just like how overall you're so positive, and it doesn't seem that it's incredibly weighted by you, because I know that it is. You know, it's like my brother's wife had cancer, and I saw how much it took from them, and she's, you know, she survived, but it's still, there's like still trauma left with her from it. And I know how much it can take from you, and it's just always impressive to me, like how you're just, I don't know, it's so courageous how you can take something that's like such a challenge in your life and take it and grow stronger from it. Like, I remember when you were posting like the still standing stuff, I thought that was so dope. I thought that was like so tight, and like just how and like how you would end every post with like still standing, and I was just like, fuck yeah, that like motivated, like it was weird, it like motivated me to like go to the gym. Like I was just like, like I was just like, this is awesome, I'm amped on this. So I think a lot of people are just like very appreciative of you being in here, and they're like giving you a lot of props, like, you got this, you're gonna beat the fuck out of cancer. I lost my stepfather and grandfather both to cancer. My mother recently had a scare. Keep fighting, brother, you can get through this. And I think that kind of brings us maybe to like bookending this. I don't know if you kind of want to throw this out there now, but I don't know if you knew, but I already said this on air. I already mentioned on Watch that we were doing this, but you're doing a really, really big thing coming up, and you know, I'm a part of it, so I would like you to kind of plug it right now.
You plug it in now. So when I had mentioned this idea to Kyle, because just a little short background story. This was before I wanted to help other people. A lot of being a creative, I'm inspired to do things, but I usually get inspiration from other people that inspire me. Kyle is one of them. I don't know how many times I either told you or not, but things that you've done in your life have inspired me to do, you know, certain challenges, whether it was work or endeavors. And so what you were doing with your channel and, you know, talking to people and, you know, safe place. And I was like, dude, I want that, but I want a little bit more. So for my 40th birthday, it's coming up. I'm super stoked. It's around the corner, so I hopefully get to 40. I don't mind getting older. That's a positive thing because that means I'm just, still continuing on with life. My dad had asked me in the car home from one of my treatments, and he's like, your 40th birthday is coming up. What do you want? And usually you kind of go to the things like, oh, I need this or this kind of materialistic thing that in the end you don't really need. There's more things that are important. And he's like, do you want, to do a dinner with friends and family? I was like, that'd be cool, but I had this other thing in mind that I really want to do and pursue. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, I want to hold a fundraiser for the cancer community. And he's like, okay, like what specifically? And I was like, I've always wanted to do like a charity walk, like walk in somebody else's charity walk and raise money. But then I was like, could we possibly host a charity walk? And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, we can get that done. And so I have a very large charity walk. It's here in Orange County. It's in the city of Lake Forest Sports Park. It's an 86-acre park. The cancer walk is called Walk the Walk, Fighting Cancer with Friends. These aren't just my friends. It's also family, and it's any of you. I'm hoping to meet new people, share my story, kind of, help in any way I can. And hopefully these strangers become my friends is the goal, is like, being anything in somebody's life, especially being a positive one, whether it's like you pass a note or say something just simple and sweet and nice to them, can reflect how they pursue the rest of that day. Like it can give them a huge, incredible energy burst. And that's kind of the thing I want to do with the way that I'm doing things. So this charity walk is for all cancers. I am in partnership with the American Cancer Society. So all proceeds that are made towards the walk go straight to ACS. They're doing wonderful things with American Cancer Society. I'm a part of that group. So any cancer patient or anybody outside of cancer, ACS has impacted your life in some fashion. I'm actually about to use ACS this upcoming week. They offer this service where it's called Road to Recovery, where they drive patients to their appointments and they pick them up and drop them off back home for free. So your donations go to this bucket that allow people to volunteer. It pays for their gas or whatever they're doing and their time, but at the same time gets patients to where they need to go when they don't have a ride available. So my parents are going on vacation this week. They're usually the ones that take me to the appointment. I'm going to use Road to Recovery to take me to my appointment. But it's your donations that are funding this program that are helping us. And in other ways, too, there's a lot of programs that they're doing, research and things like that, to build for a fulfilling future. Hopefully get to a point where, we have a cure for cancer. So every dollar, I wanted to plug in my website. So it's my personal website online that's open to the public. It's www.ryandunek, so it's just my name, .com. You'll see, amongst other things in there, like my professional work and portfolio and things like that and stuff I work on the side. But I had created this charities tab that show what I'm pursuing in life. So I have 3 things that I'm doing that's charity focused, nonprofit. I enjoy giving back to people, so I try to find things to do that and bring a smile to somebody's face. I have one that's called Decked Out Walls. I had started this business back in the day in 2009 where I created my first skateboard for Kyle that led me to find out that I enjoy painting. That's something I love to do. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for money. But for this case, I started creating custom hand-painted skateboards for charities and foundations. I had done it for pro athletes and skateboarders. I've done it for, just collectors of skateboards. But that business went from 2009 to 2017. I've been hashing out boards left and right to people. And it's raised, I think one of my boards sold for almost $2,500, I think, for a foundation. And they were just super impressed and asked me to come back the following year to do it again because I did boards for Ryan Sheckler. I've done boards for Tony Hawk. I've met a lot of people through my adventures. But Kyle was the first one that inspired me to do a board that apparently is hanging in his house still to this day. That I wanted to rekindle it again because I had put an end to it, but I want to rekindle that because I think it's a good energy booster, and it also goes to something that is helping other people. So I plan on doing skateboards for auction items for my upcoming event and other future events. And then my other charity is what I do online. It may not be a YouTube channel. It's currently just Instagram for right now, but it's, you know, me wanting to enlighten and inspire and support cancer community. So hit me up on Instagram. It's at from Dunek Dad is my handle. It's very fresh and new. I've only had 3 posts, but I'm trying to build a community that I can kind of do like a safe place to come to, but it's direct messaging. So you can directly message me and I'll answer you because I'm very meticulous when it comes to answering people. I don't give you the fluffy, like, thank you, and I just send all. I actually take the time to read everybody's message, and you get a curated personal response from me that I am listening to you, and I will talk to you however you would like to be treated, you know? So that's my other endeavor. And then I have the charity where annually I want to do a charity walk or some kind of event that benefits, you know, not just ACS, but other cancer foundations and charities. So this one is the charity walk. Next year, maybe I do, I've kind of dreamt this. This would be kind of cool, Kyle. I might tie you in on it as an idea. No one steal this shit, but I want to do a skateboard gallery, like art gallery, that donates to a foundation, but also include battle rap because it's kind of the same art scene and street. So it'd be kind of sweet to have like a battle rap and maybe use the pitch I pitched to you a couple weeks ago about how we do that battle rap. I think it'd be a really cool idea, but also do artwork so that not only the crowd and the selling of things and just, you know, battle rap may have done some charity work, but it would be really cool to tie that in to know that they don't just care about their profession and the things they do. They also care about other people. So money kind of ties back into that, into charities. I think that'd be pretty bitchin'. So yeah, go to that site, go to the Walk for Walk in the charity section. It's going to have the list of details of the event and the things that you can expect. I'm continuing to build that site to add more and more stuff. Kyle's a part of my committee, so he's going to be helping me with social media and marketing. He's an expert at it. I have total faith in him. I won't give him full reins, but he's definitely by my side through this, and he said he supports me 100%. That's one of those things that's like I want to be for people, is that you have people like Kyle in your life that regardless how much separation or time you've had, they come back. And those are true friends that, you know, you start out, you have this friendship. We spent like every day together in college. Like we lived practically next to each other. So like I saw him every day. He was more than a friend. He's a brother because I've spent so much time with him that I trust him with my life. That's how serious of a friend I think of him. That if I needed him, like I know I could count on him. And so, you know, him being back in my life, he wants to help me grow with this. I want to help him grow in his path. And I think that will be a really good dynamic duo, you know, for the future for people. So it's important to have those people in your life because that's why I'm so positive. Like, going through this experience, like, I'm an extrovert. I'm not really an introvert. I love talking to people and meeting people. And I didn't get to do it so much because of my critical state. Like, I had to stay in quarantine, even more quarantine than most people, because if I caught COVID, I probably would die. I couldn't survive that, especially in my case. So I couldn't really leave my house. You know, I had to wear masks and like cover up and use, you know, hand sanitizer all the time. And now that things have cleared and I have my vaccines, like I'm a little bit more comfortable to come out. But now I'm able to meet more people, thankfully, and build that friendship with people. And you need those people. They're your village to keep going. You know, I say I could do things on my own, but really having somebody to listen to you or encourage you, or you feel down and a child's smile can turn your day around, like it's huge. Like you don't know until it happens to you. And sometimes it takes you from making mistakes and getting to your lowest to realize I need to do something better with my life and I need help. Hey, me and Kyle are here to help you. There's other people. There's groups for you. Sometimes groups don't work and you need to do the one-on-one. Like, I'm totally down to help. Even if you're struggling with, alcohol or drugs. Like, I have done stuff in my past. I won't mention in detail because my parents are probably watching this shit. But at the time, I don't mind talking to you guys too. Like, even though I have cancer, like, I'm just another open ear to help you in any way possible. Like, it's the people like us that we need more of, I think. Super kind, on the outside, like, you got this big burly muscular guy that does battle rap, but on the inside he's a teddy bear because he cares about you guys, and that's why he keeps doing these shows for you guys. And it's like, dude, I want that because I feed off of that, and that's what keeps me going. I want to help so many more people. I want to help people of the world. It would be great if I could cure cancer or peace on earth, but I won't say I won't get to that point, but if we can change one person's life, that's good enough for me. So, amen to that.
I totally agree with all that, man. That was really beautifully said. Thank you so much for everything, Ryan. Like, you're such a source of inspiration. Like, I really love just hearing you talk about your journey and like where you are. And, I always tell you all the time, but you have such like a beautiful family. You're so blessed. You're in like such a cool place. You like really do have like an amazing support system around you. Yep. And this walk is going to be off the chain. I'm super excited. We got like me and Ryan shot a promo video that I'm cutting together. We're going to start promoting that. I got our graphic designer working on a flyer, so we're going to be plugging that more. But yeah, if you guys are in the area, June 1st, correct? That's the date?
Yes.
June 1st. In Orange County. County. We're gonna be out there walking for cancer, raising awareness. It's gonna be great. Anybody in the Los Angeles area, please, follow the socials. We'll be plugging it to find out more details. But please show up and join. And because I feel like that's really, really important. Plus, like, it's getting outside. It's a cool park. Get some exercise. It would be dope. Yeah.
Come meet me, you Kyle. In person. So I got a celebrity with me. I have Avocado with me. Maybe I can get him to battle rap for me or something.
Oh my God.
That'd be pretty tight. For all the writers out there that want to come out and see Kyle, I'm gonna make a battle for me on mic. I actually have to give an introduction to the walk, so I gotta write my speech out. But I guess I'm naturally good at talking. I was a Toastmaster for a couple of years, so I got over shyness real quick when I did that. But I love talking, and I want to meet you guys. I love the community that Kyle has online. It'd be cool if you come out. I'd love to meet you in person because you guys are pretty genuine when you're in here. Even in that scene, battle rap, like, I love that it energizes me to watch and like want to come see it live when I can. But also for Rin Your Hour, you have a really powerful thing going on, and it's you guys that keep it going. So, keep subscribing, keep watching. Can't encourage it enough. Love you guys. I don't know you, but, it's nothing but love. It's a happy thing to say and sometimes embarrassing, but I got to say, I love Kyle. I mean, he's my boy. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Probably do another one on, in person. I think that will be a good thing. And we'll try to come up with some more material, maybe some jokes, maybe some battle rap too. I don't know how to rhyme that good, but, the more I watch, maybe it'll stick in and I can figure something out.
Me and Ryan have actually freestyled together. He's actually the only person that's seen me battle. Like, well, not really, but I mean, he's seen me like freestyle battle kids at parties and stuff. So he's got dirt on me.
So it's funny because I was in one of your chats and I was like, I knew the answer, but I wanted to answer anyway. I was like, yo, Kyle, like, have you ever battle rap? And someone had said, like, yeah, he's more of a camera guy. He's always been a battle rapper. And I was like, oh, I know, because I've seen him at parties and like we've done it together. And it's like the funniest shit I've ever heard. He's like one of those comedic ones that like is under the radar until he hits you with a punchline that you're just like, he's already on the next couple bars, but then you're still thinking about the one he was talking about because you're there in person. You're like, holy shit, that's funny, but now I'm missing out on the shit he's saying right now. Yeah. So
yeah, we've done a lot. We have a history for sure. But yeah, man. Once again, Ryan, thank you for joining us. Again, like, plug your socials where everybody can follow you, your website, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat. Make sure you go my name, RyanDunek.com. I'll have everything in there to follow and for the event. And I encourage you to go to @FromDunekDad if you're on Instagram. Follow me, talk to me. The only way I can make this mission work is if I get more people to join in. I don't want to make this a thing about me. Like, this whole thing really is like, oh, you know, donating and stuff. It's not really coming to me. It's going to other people. I want it for other people. The mission that I'm doing in life, I'm not trying to get popular, but I want to get popular in a way that I have more people that I can talk to, spread the word, get checked out, you know, save your life. If you're feeling bad, come talk to me. I want to talk to you. And that's the way I want to do things. I may never go back to work. I may be on disability forever, but to occupy my time to keep my mind off cancer is talking to people and, you know, getting to know them and hopefully building a relationship that lasts a long time, like me and Kyle. I hope our relationship goes on for, you know, until we both, you know, leave this planet. But thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kyle, for having me, man. Anytime you want to do one of these, I'm down. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Alrighty, guys. I'll check you guys later. Tune in this week. We're going to be doing a watch with RX and Geechee, I think, on Thursday, possibly. And then, yeah, there's a ton of stuff happening in the world of battle rap, so just stay tuned. All right, cool, Ryan. We're off.